right, good morning and welcome to the agenda on Dominion Brokers Group. I am Chike Ubogu. Today, we're going to be tackling two different topics, and these topics have been sparking debates across the country. Well, we'll start first with the regional government in Nigeria, its pros and cons. Should Nigeria return to a regional system of governance like we had it in the First Republic, or is it this current structure that is working just fine? Well, we're joined by John Izichukwu this morning, a development researcher and an in-house analyst. Welcome, John, to the agenda this morning.
It's my pleasure.
All right, so we're going to make it so swift because we have so many places to branch to. Well, let's set the stage. Nigeria operated a regional government system in the early years after our independence, with regions like the Northern region, Western region, Eastern region, and later on we had the Midwestern regions. Well, each of these regions had significant autonomy. Today we have a federal system with 36 states and a very strong central government. John, can you briefly explain to us what this kind of regional system entails and why is it back in the conversation?
Yeah, well, of course, we are bedeviled with economic security challenges, and of course, governance has failed over the years. And so what you see is that people are beginning to compare the regional government at the First Republic and what is happening today. You will recall that there's such a thing as the Richards Constitution of 1946 and the McPherson Constitution of 1951, and of course the 56 Constitution. All of them backed regional government. What regional government means basically is that the region are the federating unit. What it means is that you keep your identity, you keep your autonomy, your resource autonomy, you keep everything that's yours. And we have a center where we all bring our little resources to make the center, to keep our unity. Don't also forget that the colonial masters, the idea was to create a system that will make leadership and governance convenient for them. And so what they did was to find a way to bring us together in order to keep working together for their own interest. And of course, you know that arrangement produced a lot of results. It yielded to what we call the economic and cultural competition. You will remember that the North was known for the Northern Granite Pyramid. You also remember that the Southwest, the Southwest region, which was championed ably by the sage himself, Chief Obafemi Awolowo. You remember that the first television station in Africa was actually as a result of the cocoa boom of that time. You also remember the Eastern region with the explosion of an exportation of oil, palm oil, out of the country, which was giving us a huge GDP at the time. But what we see today is that the center is stronger than the federating unit, which is an anathema when it comes to what we really practice as the federal system. That's not what exactly the people we copied it from the United States, for instance. That's not the model. What we have is a disjointed model. What we have is a compromised model of the of the federal arrangement. And so people are beginning to say that development is not getting to the grassroots. People are no longer autonomous of their resources. Those who do not contribute so much are earning so much.
You talked about something some weeks back. You said the kind of democracy we practice in Nigeria is very strange and unique. So maybe that's our own definition of regional system of government, where we have 36 states, maybe.
Chike, unfortunately, before the sad intercession of the military in 1966, things were going on well, except that the politicians became high-handed and reckless, which is also, of course, what we have seen now cascading down into this time. But you see, democracy, as it were, if we really want it to work, it will work, because democracy is an idea, is a concept. It's how we domesticate it down here that will determine the result we are going to get from it.
Because of our time, let's break it down into the pros and cons. Now, let's start with the pros. why might a return to regional system of government be a good idea for Nigeria today?
It's simple, because it's going to get, it will produce, economic competition. You develop at your pace. We don't take our resources from the southwest or from the south-south to develop the northeast. I mean, it will spur creative minds, innovation. Do you understand? So it will lead to everybody develop at your pace.
Yeah, but I'm still curious, because how will resource allocation work? Wouldn't richer regions like the south-south dominate?
No, Chike, you see, even during
leaving these poorer regions
even behind. At the first time we practiced it, the southwest was ahead of all the regions. Why? They had better managers of resources.
Now that we have about 6 regions,
Chike,
don't you think the south-south will dominate more?
No.
Because they seem richer.
Chike, who cares? That's their resources. They were given by God. So you go, don't also forget that in this age and time, oil is actually facing off the system. So it will pause how many oil the China has today. China is at the top of the world.
Do we have any downsides of returning back to regional system?
Of course, we are. The major managers of Nigeria politics today are afraid of secession. Afraid of people taking advantage of it to say we are not part of Nigeria again. But that's not enough fear to keep all of us bound together, and we're not making any progress. We're moving around the cycle all over the, over 50 years. We're still on the same spot. We've not made any significant progress.
Don't you think this issue of ethnic and religious conflicts might come up? It might stir up some tension, maybe entrenching regional identities, religious identities?
No, Chike, it has its own disadvantage. For instance, within the regions, there are minority groups within regions that may also be further marginalized. We understand that. But is it not better that I'm marginalized by my own people than that a Fulani person is marginalizing me? Those are the ideas. So nobody is saying that going back to regional arrangement is going to give us Eldorado. Make this work just like that. Everything will change overnight. But we're saying that we can actually trace where you come from. If you embezzle our money, for instance, we know your father's house, we know your relatives, we can actually trace you and nip you on the board. We can actually label your entire family never to part of government again. Because we know you. We know where you come from. But unfortunately, that's not the system today. Somebody from Zamfara will embezzle your money and nothing comes out of it. And when you talk about the same, it's because he's a Muslim or it's because he's from the north. Then somebody from Enugu will do the same. Oh, it's because he's a Christian. Because he's an Igbo person. That's why people are shouting about it. But if it is the same eastern region and you steal our money, we know your family house, we know your name, we know where you come from. We can actually track you and then get our money back from you.
Let's be practical now. If Nigeria were to consider this shift at this moment, what do you think it would take to make it work without plunging the country into chaos?
I'm also very skeptical if the current political elite will ever consider that. It is us talking out there. But if that will be done, then what you need is a constitutional amendment.
Okay.
That
constitutional review.
A review that will restructure the country back into what it used to be. But again, I'm afraid that this current political elite will ever advance for that. You're also aware that the bill for more creation of state is actually sailing through. So I'm wondering, maybe by the end of this administration, we'll have about 45 states as a country. And so if the idea is to get development down to the people, is it more states that get it down to the people?
Well, let's zoom out a little bit. Some have argued that the current 36-state structure is not perfect, but it is better than risking the unknowns of regionalization. Do you agree with that?
I do not agree with it.
Okay. Because
you cannot equate the development at the regional government with what we have today. You can't equate. I mean, it's not the same. It's only so the political elite are afraid of their shenanigans, and so they are afraid of what it will lead to, the backfire at the end of the day. And so because also they don't want also to lose power. They don't want to get out of government, out of using state machinery to defend and protect themselves and protect their hegemony, of course also advance their children and their great-grandchildren. So if you go back to regional government, many of them will go out of business, because today we know politics is, there's no such a business as lucrative as politics in Nigeria today.
So if you were to advise our leaders today, would you say, okay, let's stick with this current reform process, or you would say, okay, let's go for regional system of government?
Chike, restructuring Nigeria is two ways.
Okay.
We can restructure the states to be more powerful than the federal government, such that going to becoming a senator will no longer be interested. You will know, because if you're a senator is earning 100,000 naira, for instance, you will not be, you'll be interested. It's only people who are retired from their jobs, want to go and serve their country, that will go there. Now, restructuring could also mean that we're going back to regional government, which I think may never be accomplished. But we can restructure this system and say, look, the federal government is not going to be as strong as it is. Most of the exclusive list, issues on the exclusive list, cannot be divulged back to the states. You make the states stronger and let them have more money, where the federal government is just having oversight of all the states. So at that level, states cannot have their own laws. Just like you have the FBI and the police in the States of America, they can have their own policing system that will be also recognized. And then when there are international or interstate issues, then the so-called Nigerian police will now oversee such issues.
You are looking at the federating units as states
becoming stronger.
However, there are some states that are not even viable in the country.
Chike, it's nobody's business. You'll find a way to develop your
For
state.
example, let me give you a practical example. Osun State seems not to be too viable when it comes to internally generated revenue.
Chike,
Kebbi State is also not viable too.
It's nobody's business, because Osun State has a lot of arable lands. I was just talking with a friend.
They have a comparative advantage in land.
So what are you saying? I mean, I was talking with a friend the other day.
So
there's a large cocoa expanse there.
So does it still boil down to the fact that some of our leaders are intellectually incapacitated?
No, you see, because Nigeria is a fat cow that's available for everybody to milk. So we are making it, hoping that it will never finish. You get. Meanwhile, they are also having failure to finish one day. That's why they also, stocking their resources somewhere out of the country. If it were their personal business, they won't handle Nigeria this way. So I believe that everybody will wake up when reality has dawned on you. That you have to pay your salary, you have to pay staff, you have to pay everybody, and you don't have money. Money is not coming from Port Harcourt to Abuja. You will generate money yourself. Nobody. I mean, how was he managing Southwest at the time? I can still remember today there were several cocoa plantations in Ondo State. Several plantain plantations, cashew plantations that were in Ondo State. As at the time. And those were major resource generation hub for the region. So nothing is stopping. Today, technology has gone far. And within 3 months, you can do a lot. So what are you saying?
So why don't you collapse these states within each region and create just one region?
Chike, you will have the same people creating more problems for you.
So you rather prefer the state by state basis?
The state are federating units on their own. Empower them the more. Make the federal less lucrative. Nobody is interested in going there. Becoming a president in America has not, except that it gives you the global attention. It's not as if there's so much money. In fact, I watched a video where Obama's wife said they had to pay for everything they ate and bought in the White House. So it's not somewhere you must be accomplished. Like Abraham Maslow, hierarchy of needs. You must have gotten to that peak. What you want is self-actualization. And that's why you are going there, not to prove it, not to go get and make money. It's just to be self-actualized. That's why you are going there. But that's not the case today. Somebody graduates out of school, become a career politician, hoping that one day will become governor, just to make money.
Somebody told me yesterday there are 3 most lucrative businesses in Nigeria. 1, a politician. 2, hotel and tourism business, and the 3rd one is you being a preacher man, that you cash out and make more money. I don't know how true that is.
Well, I know that being a politician gives you access to national resources or state resources. I also do not know whether being a preacher, because there are many poor preacher men out there.
Well, maybe they chose to remain poor.
Just few of them who are
the limelight.
Just few of them. So,
maybe those ones chose to remain
but you cannot
poor.
become a politician today and you get into office, I mean, the resources are available to you.
All right, let's go on this break, and when we come back, we'll talk sports administration in Oyo State. Stick around, don't go away.
Ever dreamed of creating the next virus series or telling powerful stories on the big screen? This summer, your passion for TV can become a reality. Our TV Practical Summer Class is calling all future scriptwriters, producers, directors, video editors, reporters, news editors, and on-air personalities. Get hands-on training from industry professionals. Learn to shoot with professional cameras, master editing software, and produce your own content from start to finish. This isn't just a class. It's your launch pad. Don't just watch TV. Make it. Enroll now. Spaces are limited. Visit our website on www.dominion.org.ng or call the number 0706 777 9435 0706 777 9435. Dominion Television, your channel of choice.
All right, welcome back from that break. It's still the agenda on Dominion Brokers Group. Well, sports administration right from here, right here in Oyo State, is what we're looking at. From nurturing grassroots talents to hosting major tournaments. Oyo State has made significant strides in sports, but it hasn't been without its challenges. Well, joining me today in the studio is a man who has seen it all. Boyega Makinde, a seasoned sports administrator and a former general manager of Oyo State Sports Council. Welcome, Mr. Makinde, on board.
Good morning, TJ.
Good to have you.
Nice having you.
Well,
Nice seeing you again.
let me reveal one secret. It's been back and forth for years, but eventually we are here. And how are you enjoying retirement?
Well, I'm enjoying myself.
Well, you still look sporty. Well, we'll explore the heights and the lows of sports administration in Oyo State, looking at the achievements, the hurdles, and what lies ahead. Let's get started. You've spent decades in sports administration in Oyo State. Can you give our audience a sense of what sport administration entails?
Well, it's not seriously different from other the administrative aspect of life in any profession. Okay. It's just for you to manage resources, manage both human and capital, for you to manage, but specifically related to sports. You know, you manage facilities, you manage sportsmen and women, you manage championships, you manage different kind of programs. You initiate programs too that will give you a leverage anywhere you go, maybe in several competitions. And you also look at future, what you are really going to do as to keep up the tempo of sports development in Oyo State or wherever you are, whether you are handling any programs anywhere, any sporting organizations. So that is
you know, when people see you, they think it's only football. You know, maybe because they see you most times on the pitch. They don't understand that. Many don't know that even Oyo State has this rich history of handball, volleyball, basketball, despite the fact that the league is not on anymore. But we have so many other sporting activities that you oversaw then. Many people don't know that. But for this, Oyo State has a rich sports history with facilities like Lake Salami. How were you able to, you know, under your administration then, handle, you know, the executive governor rebuilt or refurbished, let's use the word.
That's a renovation.
Yeah, you know, the Lake Salami Sports Complex. Yes. How were you able to manage it? Because we know management is a big challenge when it comes to such facility.
Well, like I said, it's challenging. For every facilities that you have in sports, you must be able to generate some events to be able to put the stadium in shape. And I think that is the most important thing. With the facilities at Eko Salami, even before it was innovated, we had to manage what we have on ground to see that we're able to generate some funds, resources, to make sure that we keep the stadium in shape. And the most challenging aspect of it is that you have the manpower that is short at that particular time. You know, you need a stadium manager, you need the groundsmen that'll be able to put the pitch or so many things into place. So we have to look for how to source some of these manpower. Now you talk about sports in Oyo State, not only football, maybe because I was the former secretary of Oyo State Football Association, but generally sports right from the western state region of Oyo State has been high up when you look at the performances of Oyo State at the National Sports Festival 1977, 1973, 1979. In fact, I was a player in a festival in 1979. And you can see we have successive general managers, directors of sports that have put sports at that level, that tempo, competing with states like, at that time, my brother mentioned Midwestern. Midwestern was high up at that time. But we were rivalry. Western State, Midwestern, Lagos State, and now when we have states being divided, Oyo State, we are up there. But the problem is, how do you get resources to be able to push up, to be there? But so you have to improvise. So that is what we did, we improvised. For example, when I was the general manager, acting 2018, we had to set up a grassroots program. You know, we have a grassroots program means that this is a holiday program. Because I went through a holiday program in 1978. We have summer programs when we were in camp for about 3 months, and the government is supplying everything, feeding, etc. But now, when I was there, I had to go back to that system. We established a grassroots program. I enforced all my coaches to operate a summer camping program so that we'll be meeting our needs in future. And the future I'm talking about now, those athletes that we develop at that time, they are making waves for Oyo State. In several championships, in several competitions, we have 36 sporting associations, and they are there, international level, African championship, we all have the records there right now. And that is what Oyo State is falling back on to, even at the last national sports festival. Those we developed, they are there already. And what really helped is that the National Sports Commission, the Ministry of Youth and Sports at that time, is having a program, National Youth Games, every year. But we wanted to establish Oyo State Youth Games, but that one has not taken off. And I hope the present administration in Oyo State Sports Council will be thinking of picking up Oyo State Youth Games. That will give Oyo State Sports a leverage in future. You
talked about these challenges and included groundsmen having enough manpower. You've talked about finance, how you were able to improvise. Are these the only challenges you had then? What are the bureaucratic processes at that time?
Well, let me say this. It's political. You know,
we're talking politics too.
We have
sports and politics.
We have sports in politics.
Yeah.
We have politics in sports.
Yes.
Now, when you're talking about the bureaucracy aspect of it, you talk about what is the role of Oyo State Sports Council. Is it embedded in the law? Yes, of course. There's an edict that established Oyo State Sports Council.
There's a statute, yeah.
And the edict is saying Oyo State Sports Council is autonomous, can do this, can do that, can do that. But there is a clash.
Okay.
There is an edict that established Ministry of Youth and Sports. Then there was no Ministry of Youth and Sports. We had Ministry of Tourism, Information at that particular time. But the edict that established the Ministry of Youth and Sports was after the edict that established the Oyo State Sports Council. But a metamorphose from the Western State Sports Council. You know, the edict established Western State Sports Council as an autonomous organization on its own, 1959. And it was being reviewed, graduated to that present moment. So that is a clash. That is bureaucracy. because you want to do one or two things, the principal officer will say, go through Ministry of Education, Ministry of Youth and Sports. But you have a general manager, you have a PS, you have a commissioner, you have a chairman and the board can see the clash. That's the bureaucracy. I will not say more than that. So you find it very difficult, things that need quick attention. Maybe from the governor's office, maybe you want a philanthropist to come, you still have to take that bureaucratic step for an industry, philanthropist to come and
maybe invest. Maybe invest.
So you can see. But if there's a straight way means you have a sports commission. Just like now, you have several states adopting sports commission. Osun State, sports commission. Ondo State, yeah. Sports commission. Lagos State, yeah. Sports commission. You can see that they have solved that bureaucratic problem, and they don't seriously have problem with.
So are you saying that during your time as general manager, you were not given the opportunity to operate?
You know, when you are a manager.
I know you are trying to be economical.
No, not even that. Okay. I'm retired.
Okay.
You must be able to hit the nail on the head.
Okay.
When you are a general manager, of course you have clashes. You definitely, a general manager and a permanent secretary will have clashes on some issues. Maybe you do a kind of a proposal to the governor or to the principal authority, and you have a problem, and the PS will say, no, this is the way you want to do it. You get the point I'm trying to make.
Very well.
So you must definitely have clashes, but at the end of the day, you have to come to, a point where you must understand yourself, because you want to go, you want success. For me, I was aggressive. I was interested in having success when I was there. When I became the acting general manager, I wanted results. So if I have an obstacle, I was aggressive about the obstacle, and I had the result. Because 2018, we went to the National Sports Festival in Abuja, we were 8th position. 2019, we went to Edo State, we were in the 6th position. And 2020, we went to Delta State, we were in the 4th position. And it was even significant for me, because in 1989, I played for Oyo State in Hamburg. And we were in the 4th position in 1979. And when I was about to retire, we assumed the 4th position. So I was aggressive about it. I was aggressive about if I have obstacles in pursuing one or two things. I was crazy because I wanted results. I wanted results because I even spent some of my resources to achieve it. So that is the way I solved the problem.
Okay. Okay. Now, you were a former secretary of Oyo State Football Association. So let's talk about Shooting Stars now. You were an inside man of the Shooting Stars Sports Club, even as the general manager of the Oyo State Sports Council. What has been the problem of that sports club? It seemed to be a perennial problem. You know, there's this saying that it's an Ibadan football club. But if you go back down memory lane, you find out that Shooting Stars, ICC, was owned by the Oodua group of companies. Yeah. And it happened to be owned by 6 states, but today it is now narrowed down to the Ibadan setting. Now, what's the problem with Shooting Stars? Now, we have the technical team dissolved. A new team has come on board. Will there still be the problem, or will there be a solution in sight?
Well, let me start this way. You know, 3S is a controversial team.
A controversial team.
Any time, any day, anywhere. It's a controversial team. Let me just start this way. When you look at the team in the past, during the era of Chief Ogunjobi, late Chief Ogunjobi, with due respect to him, during the era of late Elder Bode Wole, you know, they had the successes like that. During the era of late Chief Lekon Salami too, we had several successes. And you need to know how did they achieve the successes. For example, during the era of Elder Oyewole, I was part of a think tank team. Then I was assistant secretary FA. We had 3 in number. Maxwell,
Maxwell.
Femi Okinla.
Yes, Femi Okinla.
Then the ministry administrator at that time, Usman,
Usman.
gave us 24 hours to prepare a budget
Colonel Ahmed Usman.
To do recruitment, because that is a think tank with other structures,
Yes, in place.
people. But we're able to produce the budget for that team within 24 hours because we did not sleep throughout.
So it was not rocket science.
It was not rocket science.
Okay.
It was a preparation to do that level. So, meaning that those people that I mentioned prepared to get into the successes that they had. Now, what is the preparation do we have with other management structure? I'm not castigating them. Do you have a structure on ground for shooting stars? What is that structure? Structure starts from somewhere. If you have a chairman of the board, you must have board members. You must have a think tank structure to tell you that 3SC as a football club must have a developmental phase program. What target is that team setting? This season, are we setting a target to win a championship this season, or are we building up? That's the way it works in sports. You just don't go into sports and say, hey, you want to go to the top.
Set an agenda.
That structure must be put in place from the top. Then you now look at the operating structure. You must have a general manager, you must have a marketing manager, a business manager, you must have a technical department. Yeah, you say sporting director, you must have a technical department. And what is that technical department all about? Apart from recruiting players, do you develop players that will be your own? That's the problem. Ask 3SC, how many players
do they own? Okay. Because at some point, they had about 42 players. Only 3 were owned by the club.
We have players on loan.
Even borrowed players.
Borrowed players.
You borrow players from
How
clubs.
do you now do football business that way? You don't do football business that way. Even some sports all over the world now, like my friend was saying, technology has improved. Technology in sports is something else. You talk about some football clubs earning money. Why? Because they have the plan, they have the structure, they have the plan. Apart from technical aspect, they have the plan to fund the game with their partners. You have partners. You have somebody that will say, okay, let me support the club. You have several ways to make money. That's it. You are using the Leko Salami Sports Complex.
It's state-owned. It's not a club-owned.
Do you have that partnership with the organ that is admin to improve the stadium? Or you just go there, you play, you just get your money?
That's all.
And you don't maintain the pitch, you don't do this, you don't do that. Sports, football has gone beyond rhetorics, it's gone beyond talking. You must plan. You must have a development plan. You must have a blueprint. So that even if you are not there, somebody will see that you have a blueprint of a program. And mind you, you must also carry your supporters and fans along. Because they are the base. If you look at 3SC, 3SC is a big club. Let's forget about
the challenges
that they have. It's a big club. I'll give you an example. There was a time we went to play a Challenge Cup, FA Cup in Ayungba, Kogi State, at that University Stadium. And when we got into the stadium, we saw a crowd of almost about 250 or more, because the stadium is a small stadium. And I was wondering whether they came to support the other club, and they said, up shooting. So you can see the mileage that that club has earned.
I even have friends from Germany who...
In terms of... So I have friends from England, and they will be saying, I want 3SC's jersey.
Exactly.
That is a club that has a mileage. Are you exploiting the mileage or exploring the mileage? It depends on the structure. It depends on who is passionate about taking the club out of his jobs. Now, you sack the coach. Of course, that would have been done for a very long time.
Oh, you expected that to have been done?
Let me give you an example. The team has opportunities. They were in second or third position.
Second position.
They have 2 games at home.
Yeah.
They needed to win those 2 games at home.
And just consolidate.
And just consolidate. They now had a draw. 2 draws.
2 draws.
That is what shattered. God, TK, if I had to be the chairman, I would just say, Coach, I'm giving you 3 more matches. Either you win or you draw. If you don't, then I'll just suspend you.
But this was the same coach who was adored, you know, to a point that he was called the Oracle. Is it the same coach? Was it the coach's problem, or was it the player's problem, or was it an administrative problem?
All combined.
All
combined.
Wow.
There could be a pressure on him. You know, when you play a game, when you see a coach on the sideline, there are so many things on him.
Is he really in charge of the game?
Are you really in charge
of that game?
Or do you have a kitchen staff that will assist you to get to where you want to go?
I want you to shed some light on this, and to also either clarify.
So sacking the coach now is just
medicine
after death.
Okay, now, is it true that for every game Shooting Stars plays, there are slots, players that are from different people that must play a game? For example, the speaker has his slot, this person has his slot, this person has his slot. So if you don't play these people's slots, then the team will not go on the field, on the pitch.
I don't know about that.
Are you sure?
Because a coach that is worth his salt must not...
but we had this in the past.
In the past, yes. Of course.
During the time of Franklin Howard, he was really not in charge.
You have political players in the past.
Yeah, political players.
Of course, I know about that you have political players in the past.
Okay.
But for now, with the quality of players I have seen on the pitch of play, I don't think there are political players amongst them. But the problem is, you see, when you play football, there are so many things involved in football. Apart from the tactical play, apart from the technical play, there are so many other things that you involve, especially in Nigerian football, when you play home and away and you go long distances. What did you put in place to make sure that your players recover after each game?
Is there a psychotherapist in the team?
If they have a physiotherapist there.
A psychologist, a psychotherapist?
I don't think they do have a
because the guys have to be the right
That's one.
Mind.
Then, do you have an exercise physiology that will look at your training program, that will reassess and reassess it, and be able to tell you that this program that you are going to do will, one, improve your performance, one, reduce the risk of injuries. Or even if you have the injury, we'll give you a recovery program that will help that player to come back to field of play. I watched a match when 3SC was playing, and the particular player was fumbling. And I asked, why is he playing like they said he had injury? I said, then he must be removed. Because it shows that he has not recovered from that injury for a very long time. Yes, the physiotherapist, yes, could manage it. But what is the content of the training program?
So it's just been trial and error all the while.
Trial and error. And when you look at the Nigerian team, you look at how do you recruit your players? How do you recruit them? You recruit them maybe by name, you recruit them maybe by their performances, but you set a parameters for them to know whether this player is going to be fit to play a football match. So, coming back, I don't think for now 3SC has a political player.
Okay.
But if I'm the general manager and I have a good player, I have seen a good player, I can recommend that player to 3SC. Same thing goes from the speaker, same thing goes from any other person. If you see a good player anywhere, you can recommend it. If the coach feels that it's good to fit into the game, then you are good to go.
All right. Now, you've talked about the 3SC. There's another wing, which is the Oluyole Warriors, the basketball team.
Wow.
They were promoted in 2012 after 13 years. And then
during
your era. And then at the end of the day, after some time, whoops, the team was no longer there. What really happened? Funding. Yeah, at some point I knew some of the players were earning as low as 35,000, 30,000.
Funding. No, not even that, at that level, at the basketball level.
Yeah.
We were even trying to give them money comparable to other players
in other clubs.
But during my time, we did something that we put them in a budget.
Okay.
But when you do apply for funding for the club, you always have a problem. So how do we do it?
A problem from where?
When you do, when you apply to request for funding from the government, you get the point at that time, not this present government.
At that time.
The problem is that, number one, your files might not be attended to.
Or it may be
Number
missing.
two, if the file is attended to, the funds might not be available at that time.
Wow.
Might not be the problem of government, might be the limited resources they have at that time. Of course, we have limited resources at that time. But what I'm saying is, the club went down, but the club is on now. Are you aware?
Yeah, I'm aware that some championships that are going to be played next month.
The club went down because, number one, the funding was not coming as expected. Despite the fact that we won championships at that particular point in time. We were third, we were second. Then number two, anything that is not football
is of no priority.
It's of no priority.
Okay.
But that is what we are trying to tell people. Football is not the only sport that you have resources in. You have resources in tennis. You have resources in table tennis. You have resources in athletics. In fact, when you look at what is happening all over the world now, the development now, you have what is called youth sports business. Are we aware in Nigeria that we have youth sports business? It's gaining ground all over the world. Youth sports business, when you go, now in United States of America, if you get a scholarship as a sportsman, not that you are only being paid your tuition in that school, but you also be giving grants, like a professional player, maybe $50,000 grants because you are on a scholarship for that institution. So meaning that youth sports is a business. Is moving away from what it used to be, and I think we are not going into that direction.
So what do you see with the new formation of the 3SC now? Do you think?
Well, I think the present chairman is trying to get organized. Okay. He has a chief operating officer. Okay. I don't know what he's going to do. What operation is he going to operate on? Okay. Maybe on the business side. Okay. Maybe on the administrative side. We have a new sporting director. Yeah. I don't know how grounded is he in terms of players' equipment, strategy, tactics for the club to be able to move forward, because that is going to be part of his job schedule in terms of that. So
how about
they have a coach?
Yeah, the coach.
The coach, maybe because it could be sensational because he was with Ikorodu United. Okay. Because Ikorodu United came to Ibadan, and at a particular time you had a draw. They have youthful players. Yeah. But is he ready for the nitty-gritty of the Premier League with the pressure of 3SC?
So is he going to be ready?
Is he going to be ready?
The bureaucracy in the 3SC
and 3SC's pressure.
3SC's pressure, or the management or the government's pressure?
Well, 3SC's pressure. You have pressure from the fans. You have pressure from the supporters club, and what is the pressure? His own outlook when he goes to play, when he goes to handle the team. How is he going to handle the team? What is that difference he's going to make for the team to achieve results? That is the most important thing.
So maybe, because we just have to go now, can you kindly set an agenda for 3SC?
Well, somebody asked me a question at a particular time. I think I was passing a comment on the Facebook, and that person said he has not had me talk on 3SC. And I said, well, 3SC is a phenomenal entity that goes through crisis transition. That's the way I described it. And the guy, my brother, and I said, how? And I told him, and I said, for 3SC to achieve, number one, you must have a good structure, a management structure, like I mentioned, the chairman, the board. Yeah. Number two, you must have a sound technical department. Okay. For you to thrive in Nigerian league. Number 3, you must have a marketing department that will also look for funds, not necessarily depending on government alone. It's a club that you must set a professional agenda, in terms of buying players, in terms of merchandising. Thank you very much. Merchandising, endorsement, etc. You must be able to set up those departments. Then you must have partnership programs. You know, you must have partnership programs with different kind of organizations, maybe companies,
brands,
industries, etc., both home and away, outside Nigeria. You must be able to establish that brand, 3SC. And you must be able to get an investment for 3SC. 3SC does not have any investment.
They have liabilities.
So with that, the sky is the limit.
All right, thank you, Mr. Gboyega Makinde. Yeah, we've been discussing sport administration in Oyo State. We've covered the highs, but no journey is without its challenges. Mr. Makinde, thank you for featuring on the agenda this morning.
Thank you very much.
All right, John Izuchukwu, thank you for featuring on the agenda this morning.
Thank you,
and
for having me.
well, we'll still have more discussions. Well, that's all for today, folks. The agenda will be back again tomorrow. Let's keep this conversation going. Do follow us on all our social media platforms. On YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok is at Dominion Broadcast. And on the app X, it is at Dominion Cast. You visit our website at www.dominion.org.ng. My name is Chike Ubogo. Have a great day ahead.